Welcome to Roar Stories. This is a space for real stories of resilience, courage, and the decision to keep going when it would be easier to stop. And the human race was never meant to be run alone. And I keep saying it every episode, but hope is the only thing that grows when we give it away. And that's what we do here on Roar Stories. I have the most amazing lady and new friend to introduce you to tonight. And I'm really excited about that. And I just want to ask you a favor in advance. If this story gives you strength or you're inspired in any way, and I know you will be, I want you to please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And, you know, again, hope is the only thing that grows when we give it away. And wait till you hear Michelle Ferguson's story. Michelle, welcome to Roar Stories. Thanks for being here.
Kim, thank you so much for having me, for having this platform to share my roar stories. I'm so grateful and humbled, and I consider you my pink sister.
Amen. Right? Tell our listeners what that means.
So a pink sister is that, I mean, Kim, we just met in real, I mean, in right now, but we have one thing, actually two things in common. But one thing is that we were both breast cancer survivors. So
Yep.
that
High
makes
five.
us high five, high five. That's really something to celebrate. So
Amen.
yeah.
Amen. Absolutely.
So
Well,
it, this is
your story is mind blowing because when you were working through your own cancer, you were also at the exact same time a caregiver for your husband. And I can't even imagine how complex the layers of your feelings must have been at that time. But you're here roaring a victory that you're still here living life to the fullest. I'm not going to tell your story. I promise I will let you do that. But the amazing thing is you and I talked before this episode started for quite a while, and
mhm,
you're filled with joy. You have a smile on your face and you attribute all of that to gratitude.
correct.
So tell us a little bit about that because that's the victory. And then we'll dive a little bit more into your story.
Into my story. So gratitude was my anchor and still my anchor. So Jerry and I were practicing gratitude separate, but when we were both diagnosed with cancer, gratitude becomes more intentional. So what I mean by that is the moment we wake up, because we know that it's just a matter of when, it's not a matter of if. So we say like, oh, we're grateful that we have another day together, or when his platelets are low that you cannot have his chemo treatment. Oh, we're grateful. Then maybe we could go kayaking together, or we could walk in the park. And practicing that gratitude, it doesn't mean that you are in la 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 land, but it means that you're choosing to look at it at a different lens, and because our mind is only capable of one emotion at a time. So we acknowledge, okay, we got this, and then what am I grateful? What is he teaching? So that, and due to that, that's why I'm still smiling, I guess, and not really. And also, our love really becomes more stronger, and it helps us prepare for each other as to what lies ahead, because we know either it's me surviving him or the other way around.
Yeah. So you received this diagnosis. I think his was first, right? And then
Yes.
came yours.
Yeah.
And then his was full blown chemo and
Yeah. So my war story, I rise up because we were diagnosed 6 months apart with cancer. So
wow.
first was he was diagnosed in February 2, and then I was diagnosed 6 months apart, which was July. His
Wow.
was full blown right away. It was stage 4 esophageal cancer with brain mets. So even before the chemo or the radiation started, is the brain operation right away, because brain supersedes all the other vital organs. So he had a back-to-back brain surgery in the second week of February, and then the first week of March, and then after that, brain radiation, and then the chemo treatment. So that's when I literally start having my new title as a caregiver, and became the breadwinner because his work has to stop right away at that time
Yes, of
also.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you're feeling this pressure of caring for your husband. You're now the breadwinner. You're the
Mhm.
insurance carrier. And right. And very important.
Right.
Michelle and I had a big conversation about this prior to coming live. Is
Yeah.
I'm a health insurance broker and she's a financial services advisor, and so we have very similar interests in helping our clients
Yeah.
build and preserve their financial resources in slightly different ways. But when she said that the pressure to carry the health insurance was on her, I immediately understood what that means.
Exactly. It is a challenge, and it's also a full-time job to navigate the insurance and the healthcare
Yes, it is.
situation and coverage and stuff. So it's really an obstacle for me going to the roar also. Like, I it's an obstacle navigating all of this because you are aside, and then 6 months after that, I was diagnosed with cancer too. So I have to go through my own treatment, through my own surgery, through my own
Double the
reconstruction, and
bill.
and all the bills. And I didn't stop working. I worked through the only
Wow.
time that I didn't work was when I was on operation. The moment my cancer team woke me up, I said, "Can I have my iPad, please? I need to
Oh
sign
my
on."
gosh.
It was real because I mean, we always joke it around like we have fixed expenses but variable income, and then when your income drop becomes and then you have all these things. I think you can, so that's really the obstacle, that even if we talk about it like, what is your obstacle, Michelle? I said, the mental exhaustion, but even that, you cannot even take time because I cannot. I mean, I have to show up, like every my client depended on me, Jerry depended on me, everything.
And you depended on you.
And I depend on myself. And my four-legged son depend on me, Spike. So yeah, I can imagine
Yeah,
that. Yeah. So that's the obstacle.
absolutely.
But through gratitude, I was able still to focus and navigate, because one thing I do, Kim, is the moment I wake up, aside from Jera and I doing the gratitude, is I wrote down what are the three things that I'm grateful for, and I really said it out loud, and both in English and in French, and then I put it in my wallet. So when I go throughout the day or I go to the office, I
Ah,
put it in my desktop. So because life throws you curveballs, right, at any given
yep,
day, like orco traffic. So then I go to my wallet, or if it's not there, then I read it out loud, and I could really sense it that sometimes, especially if you're mad or upset or disappointed or whatever, like the tone of your voice, like not the positive, not the jolly, but I keep
yeah.
on repeating it until I could see that, oh, I'm smiling again. So and then I put it back. So that's
Oh
how
my
I
gosh.
really stayed
Okay.
through.
So I feel like this is just like this is your secret sauce. Like, okay, so walk us through. So you wake up, you've got a pad of paper sitting
So I
next to
get
your
a
bed.
yellow post-it. I get a yellow post-it beside my bed, and then I
Okay.
write down. I wrote down what are the three things that I'm grateful for. Then I read it out loud. Okay,
Okay.
and then after that, if I am working from home, then I put it, like, stick it in the laptop. If I'm going to the office, then I put it in my wallet. Then I put it inside my wallet. So throughout the day, if there's curveballs or there are some challenges that comes along
Yes.
and all these other emotions, then I go back and read it. And I could hear it in my voice, especially when there are some, don't get me wrong, there are some days that you get like that. But then I go read it, and I could read, sometimes it's like a flat line, like there's like and then
Yeah.
I read it again, and then, because
Yeah.
when you're like, oh, I'm grateful because of this and that, later on you really start smiling because you're grateful. so so that helps me to
So
navigate cancer, navigate, the navigating the insurance, navigating life, navigating loss.
yeah.
Yeah.
And remind me, my three G's are God, great gratitude, and your three G's are
Grace, grief, and gratitude.
grace, grief,
Yeah.
and gratitude.
Yeah. And I have to have the grief because no one prepares you to be a widow, right? There is no like a to-do list to become a caregiver and a widow. You just did it. And grief, I talk about it with you briefly, that Actually, when you are caring or for someone, be it your husband or a family member or mother or daughter that in a serious illness or critical condition, the grief
Yeah.
starts there right away. It's not to that because there's this anticipatory grief,
Yes.
and little by little, you're losing that person and you're losing you. So,
Yeah.
grief doesn't just mean like because you died. It's really part of that when you start taking care of chronic illness or so.
Yeah. So you practiced gratitude like this with your husband
I
when you guys
practice
were in the
gratitude.
theater.
Yeah, but during our cancer, our cancer life together, we practice gratitude. Before that, he comes from Midwest, so he always have this jolly laid up, and he practiced gratitude. But he practiced by himself. I practice by myself. Sometimes we do yoga together. But the cancer really made us really do it together, like
So
the
what was, did you literally, so he gets diagnosed, you start putting the pieces together and being his caregiver, and then you get diagnosed.
yeah.
When in this journey and how? I'm like, I'm super
When does the
curious
journey
about
of
this.
doing gratitude together really
Yeah.
start?
How did you,
Actually, before I was diagnosed, when he was when Jerry was grew up as a Baptist, I was raised Catholic, and and then later on he becomes more and more atheist. Then I thought, well, they said once Catholic, always Catholic. So anyhow, when during the and I still when during I mean I moved my office to the hospital. I never left his hospital
wow,
bed. So when the attending nurse said like, oh, do you want a priest to be with you? So the Jerry said like, I've seen so many Catholic things that when they come up priest, there's no good news. So that's really. And then he said, Michelle, do you want? I said, and at that time it was him that was sent me, right? It was his cancer. So I said, it's your choice. I mean, like, yeah. And then he said that, sweetie, I'm not gonna ask how long, but we have to be grateful for the time. So then I said, why won't we start doing it really together and so on?
there
Because
you go.
so that's where it really
So
started.
there was a conscious decision to start doing it together,
It's a
and
conscious
then
decision to do, yeah.
I love
So
that.
instead of, like you pray, I mean, regardless of religion, you play to God, you play to Allah. So it's more like the gratitude, and it's like, I know you still have that. I mean, you're raised Catholic, you have that faith in you, you have the God, but why won't we instead of, because he said, I will never do your novena. He said that to me right away, like, I will never do your novena. I will, but there's something that we can do together. You practice your yoga, you've been, this is why won't we do the gratitude? So then we did the
I
gratitude
love
to
it.
like together. Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
So then you practiced gratitude together,
Yeah.
and then your diagnosis came. So how
So
did
then
that gratitude help you cope when your diagnosis came?
when my diagnosis came, the gratitude from Jerry's side was gone. The F word dropped like there's no tomorrow from his side, and it's coming from the military thing was really like because it was hard. Like, so like and then I said, hey, remember, I am stage one. So there's still something to be grateful. It
Yes,
could be worse. It could be us being both stage four, and then we were laughing out loud after that. So like, oh yeah, it could have been us. It could have been. For I said, see, because someone has to take care of one another. So mine is minor, yours. So then we just laugh out loud. So then, but and when it was, it hurts. It cuts like a knife because like how much more, right? Like, and it's not even like a year past. It's 6 months apart.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But I love that you were already practicing gratitude,
yeah,
and then you found a way to say stage one and
yeah,
find some gratitude in that,
yeah.
and find your strength in that gratitude and keep
Exactly.
moving forward every single day.
And it
And
becomes my anchor. I mean, it has been my anchor, but it really shows how resilient and also that it's okay. And you talk about hope that it's something that, can multiply and share. Should that's gratitude because when you practice gratitude, it's just the universe is also sending gratitude back to you. So
yeah,
you met friends, you meet new friends, and then you meet people that help you. So it's just so and everything is just like a vibration and cycle. So I look at it like it's like when you pray, your prayers are answered. When you practice gratitude, gratitude comes back.
Yeah. Yeah. And then there's so many more things that I want to talk about. But in the interest of time, I want to ask you a little bit about some of the things you've already accomplished in spite of, because of, however we want to say it.
Yeah.
You've now written 3 books.
Three books and one in French.
And yes, and I want to talk about that whole French thing. One, because I love the French language, and two, because you set a goal,
Yes.
and that was a really cool goal that I think it's so impressive. Here you are going through all of this. You're a caregiver for your husband who's dying, and then you're diagnosed with your own cancer, and then your
Mm-hmm.
husband dies, but you still set this goal
Mm-hmm.
for yourself to keep living. And gratitude helped you move closer to that
Correct.
every day. And it's not forgetting your husband or forgetting what you went through.
No.
It's being grateful for what you had,
And
but also
honoring and honoring the life that we live. So speaking
yeah,
French right now is really not only the promise that I keep to myself, but the
yeah.
promise that I made to Jerry as well. So
So you
when
promised him. Let's fill our listeners in here. You promised him that you would learn to speak French by the time you turned 50.
50
How much time did that give you?
to close to 3 years.
And you did it, and you wrote a book in French.
Yes, I talk to my dog in French. Like everything in the house is in French. My keyboard is in French. I watched I mean I really full immersion in French, and I did the 6 months after Jerry passed, and almost no 8 months after he passed away, I was in France for a full immersion near at south of France near Tarbes. So it was really there's not many not unless you go to Toulouse that's more mercant, but English speaking it's really in a small town, so it's really complete French immersion and that so yeah. So what the things that I did after Jerry is that I promised that I will keep on traveling. So that's why there's the map behind me. That's
Love
also a
it.
story, and it's in
Yep.
my book, A Love Like Ours. So, and moving forward, it doesn't mean, or writing your own story doesn't mean that you're forgetting or like he will always be a part of me. All I need to
100%.
do is close my eyes. We've been married for 22 years, been together for 25. So I always joke around. Half of my life was really with him, and he will always gonna be a part of me. That will never change. And honoring the love that we shared is to continue living and paying it forward, keeping the promise that I made to myself and to him, and continues practicing gratitude, sparkling gratitude to whoever people that I met, friends that I newly met, and make this place better than I found it. And also, maybe in a way, I always look at it that we always have a choice how we take cancer, and cancer always has this derogatory thing, right? Or the
Yeah.
end of the world. But we all know that, I mean, to put it in a medical, we all have expiration date, right? But it's really up to us how Angeria and I took cancer as a friend. And as a result of that, we have the best 2.5 years of chemo treatment, physical therapy, because after his chemo, after his brain surgery and all this stuff, chemo treatment, radiation, things, and my own surgery, my own physical therapy. And what we have that because it was also during COVID, so we're leaning to each other more.
Oh my
There's no
God.
stones left unturned, and we danced tango in our living room with and carry spikes. So we had the best memories. So it's really the every day you wake up, you always have a choice what day you're gonna have. And for us and
Yeah.
for me, we choose gratitude and positivity. And but it doesn't mean we cried, as I said earlier. There's a lot of effort dropping from Jerry but we acknowledge it, but we don't dwell on it, and we focus on what we have right now. That's the time that we have left.
You are extraordinary.
Right back
And
at you, big sister.
I am. I'm so grateful that you're here sharing your story. Tell us a little bit more about your secret sauce.
So
Is there
my
something inside? Yeah.
something inside. So something inside is my secret sauce. Aside that I already shared a little about the gratitude, the three things that
Yeah.
the secret sauce also is that as a woman, or we wear so many hats as a a wife. We have a career, right, and corporate world, etc. And sometimes we forget to take care of ourselves or to say no because we don't want. So
100%.
my secret sauce, which I learned at a very young age, working with a German company and and being able to work in an international arena, is that it gives me really not set boundaries and really taking time, blocking time for myself. And even with the and Jerry was also mindful with that when I said, like, when it's like my yoga time, that's my secret. I really block time in the calendar because for me, you cannot serve others when your tank is empty. So you
Empty.
really have to fill your
100%.
own tank first.
Yep. Very wise words. And
And it's
then the
not being
other,
selfish, because sometimes we think that when you're
no,
saying no, so please, sometimes, they say, oh, Michelle, you're so selfish. I said, no, I'm not selfish. I'm contrary. I'm doing it so that I could help you, because if I will not take
100%.
care of myself,
Yep.
so yeah.
Yep. It's the same thing, right? On the airplane. Every time I'm sitting on the airplane and they go through that security detail and they say, in the event of, oxygen
Yeah. Do
diminishing
you
in the
first.
cabin, the oxygen mask is gonna fall. Put it on yourself first,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because if we can't breathe, we can't help other people breathe.
Exactly.
And so wise.
And
And
it's okay to
so,
say no.
yes, amen. And then, another question that I like to ask our guests is, if you had one thing now, like after thinking through, all of what happened, that you
Mm-hmm.
could say to yourself back then that might help just a little bit, what would that be?
If I could have go back, you mean the cancer or the older the younger Michelle?
Younger Michelle going through all of what you just endured.
If I would that to don't don't be afraid to ask for help. And what I mean by that,
Wow.
because I grew up as an only child, and there's a big gap between my aunts. So as an only child, you learn how to rely on yourself, like to be more self-reliant and everything.
Yep.
And a good friend of mine said to me, like, Michelle, if you're not asking for help, you're actually depriving us to help you, because how do we know that you need of help? Because you look so strong,
Oh,
you
I
got
love
it all points that, so you said it to before we went live, that we look at the struggle within, or the challenges within, the obstacle, and when you put in you're okay. So that's it's okay not to be okay, and ask for help, reach out, lean into your friends, lean into your family, lean into your faith.
Wow. I feel like you just said so many amazing, wise things. And I am so grateful that you're here. Thank you that you are sharing all of these things with others. Thank you for being here with a smile on your face despite all that's happened.
And Kim, I just wanna ask, tag something for being here. So if it's okay with you, and thank you again. I'm humbled. So being a widow and a caregiver made me all this experience, and I write my own gratitude journal and tools to help me. So at the end of the month, I'm doing a renew masterclass. It's free, and I'm gonna do it every month, twice a month. So renew stands for recognize. So you recognize your pain and where you are right now, and you embrace it, because there's no time. So E is embrace, N is navigate, and E is establish, or you evolve yourself, and W, you write your own story or you move forward. So
I love
you will,
this.
it will be in the information on Kim's
Yet we will
video.
definitely
So
include
yeah,
it.
so make sure to subscribe so
Okay.
you get that link.
So this is a mastermind that you're starting, you're launching.
Yeah.
Um, and it's coming up in the end of April. right?
Yeah,
And then
second
there
week.
will
Yeah,
be some
yeah,
more
yeah,
in May.
yeah. So
Okay.
it's a must.
So
Must, must.
we will make sure that we put some links to this. Wow. Um, wow. That's
To
amazing.
help women navigate loss and grieving and caregiving and in a gratitude lens. So each of those renew it has an exercise, a reflection, and then a gratitude also.
Yep. And then we'll also put some links to your books
Oh, thank you.
because I know your books also have gratitude exercises
Mhm.
and questions to help people think through what their mindset is really thinking right now.
Correct. Thank you
All of
so
these.
much, Kim. Grateful, grateful and humbled. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm grateful and humbled. Thank you for being here. And thank you to everyone who just listened to Michelle's incredible story. We are so grateful that you're here too. And if this inspired you, share this out to your friends and family. And if you know somebody who needs to renew and needs Michelle's program, of course, share this out so that they can find Michelle. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about all of the new
Then they're gonna
possibilities.
roar after they renew. They're gonna roar.
Amen, right? That's the whole idea. Amen. So that is the perfect segue into how we end every episode. And we end every episode with a 1, 2, 3, never give up. So, Michelle, on the count of three, say it with me. 1, 2, 3, never
Never
give
give
up.
up.
Never give up.
Never give up.
We love you all. Until next time, never give up.
Never.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, Kim.